Welcome, everybody, to the Hounds Tales podcast. This is your home for field trialing and deer dog hunting. It'll be stories and discussions on the world of dog hunting. So let's drop the gate, cast your hounds, and get ready for another episode of the Hounds Tales podcast. The Hounds Tales podcast is proud to partner with Outdoor Dog Supply again for the 2025 season. Outdoor Dog Supply is the leader in online garment sales with their world-class trade-in programs. These guys are not just a business, they're also houndsmen and women too. They test their products out in the field and really put them to the test. Get the latest in garment equipment, stay locked and ready with field trial equipment, collars, leashes, and so much more. Visit their website today at outdoordogsupply.com, and we want to thank Outdoor Dog Supply for their support not only for the podcast, but in the field trials across the country. When you're looking for your next purchase and equipment, keep Outdoor Dog Supply in mind. Now let's get this episode started, guys. Thank y'all so much. Welcome, everybody, to the Hounds Tales podcast. Tonight, I am joined by Mr. Joey Fowler. How are you tonight, bud?
I'm good. How about yourself?
Doing good, man. Just got back from a little mini vacation, so glad to be back home.
Me too. We went to North Carolina mountains, done a little snow skiing.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
You picked a good week for that, then, with the weather coming in.
No, it was. There was no snow, of course, on the slopes. They had fake snow, but no snow when we got there. But the last night we were there, it snowed really well, but we had to leave the next day. But we did at least get to see the snow in the mountains. So.
I got you. Well, perfect. Well, just for kind of whoever's listening that don't know who you are, if you're on Facebook and follow this sport, you probably have seen your name pop up a time or two, at least on Facebook. So, for anybody that's listening that don't really know who you are, just give me kind of an introduction, who you are, where you're from.
Okay. Well, I'm from Wilmington, North Carolina. I have settled in Leland, North Carolina, originally from Wilmington. Settled in Leland, North Carolina. I've been hunting pretty much my whole life. Started out as most people did with the hounds, deer hunting.
Right.
But at a young age, I started out with bird dogs. I had bird dogs as far as I can remember.
Okay.
When I was extremely young.
Right.
But anyways, that's kind of where I got it started. And then I had some coon dogs, and then I got into the deer dog business. And then it progressed, of course, as most people do, to be competitive into field.
Of course, right.
So that's kind of where it started.
Gotcha.
I'm a general contractor by trade.
Okay.
I build residential custom homes.
Very nice. I like that.
I have I've been in the field trial world sometime.
Yeah.
Been in and out. I hadn't been completely out ever, but I have raised 3 kids. So there was times I could not do it as much as I would have liked to.
Right.
Of course, busy with children.
Yep.
But I'm getting to an age. My kids are getting to an age that we're getting back serious field trial again.
Awesome. How old are your kids now?
They are 12, 14, and 17.
Oh yeah, that's perfect age right there.
So we, my oldest one went through a time with a lot of travel baseball, and that took a tremendous amount of time. Most people would know.
Yeah.
Travel sport. That took a lot of time out of hounds. Like I say, never got rid of them. Always kept my bloodlines, but just didn't breed and raise as many dogs at that time. Or field.
I got you. Now, Leland, isn't that what pens down there? Ain't Grassy Branch down in Leland?
So Grassy Branch, I actually live about 4 miles from Grassy Branch.
Okay, I thought that was right. I've been down there one time, and I thought Leland rang a bell.
Yes, Brunswick County, especially now. Of course, it's on the coast.
Mm-hmm.
There's never been a lot of pens in Brunswick County, and mainly due to the cost of the property.
Gotcha.
as where you can go right across the line in Columbus County and land is a quarter of the cost.
Wow.
So that's the reason there's not a ton of pens, or never has been a ton of pens in Brunswick County.
Gotcha.
A lot of deer hunters and a lot of fox hunters in Brunswick.
Right.
But,
Now, who got you started into deer dog stuff? Then we'll kind of go back and back that far.
Well, so I grew up hunting in a deer club here, North Wilmington, Black River Hunting Club, and my dad I did not hunt with him, but I had two uncles I hunted with, and religiously every weekend. We'd stay at the camp Friday night and hunt Saturday every weekend.
Right.
And I come accustomed to dealing with hounds up there with a guy. He was actually my uncle at one time by marriage, but Robert Hammonds had a pack of dogs, and I really enjoyed helping him with the hounds and and the whole aspect of deer hunting with dogs. Right. And that's kind of where the dogs. That's kind of my first experience with any kind of dogs. But a fella here in Leland, by the name of Jay Child, we call him Jay Bird.
Okay.
Very low key. Done some field trialing through the years, but kind of kept to himself. But he was probably the most, he probably taught me the most about dog hunting in general.
Right.
As far as field trialing. And then a fella by the name of Tommy Carter.
Okay.
I deer hunted with Tommy Carter. He's from North Wilmington area. Had a pen in, he's still living. Recently has leased his pen out, but had a starting pen in Surf City. But Tommy Carter taught me a lot about hound hunting and field trialing as well.
Gotcha.
But them two, Jake Child and Tommy Carter, I would say would be who I learned the most from.
Gotcha.
As a guy in his early 20s.
Okay. I was wondering about what age you got started in.
I probably got my first fox dog, and ironic, got my first puppy fox dog from Dennis McCaskill.
Oh, no kidding. Okay.
Everybody knows Dennis now. He's back in sport, but Dennis was out for a little while. But Dennis had a litter. He had a Bridges pencil jip.
Okay.
That'll tell you how long ago that's been.
Yep. Yep.
Bridges pencil jip, and they bred that dog to H&H Gator, I believe was that dog's name. But anyway, he had a puppy. He had a litter of puppies there, and that was the first foxhound that I actually bought, and it was a puppy, 6'8". And that was the first puppy I ever placed. I placed Face and Fox pen. First one I went to, we placed fourth. Had that puppy hunt.
Nice. But
that's been. So probably I got in the hound business when I was 22, 23 years old, as far as field trial.
Right.
Yeah.
I got you. So what made that transition over from the deer woods to the field trial? Was it just a competitiveness?
It's not. A little bit of competitive. I'm a little competitive, but not. I wouldn't say I'm competitive as some people in this sport for sure.
Right.
I originally got into it because, of course, deer season is a short season, and comparatively for all year. So it gave us something to do. I was good friends with Jeremy Sullivan, Quick Catch Kennel.
Yeah.
At Chloe, so me and him's same age, and so we hunted together, and so it gave us something to do throughout the whole year with dogs. It's kind of the reason we got into field trialing. So
that makes sense. Makes sense.
It was instead of having dogs, because I'm the type of person I'm not going to allow a dog, even older dogs, to sit in a pen and do nothing.
Right.
If they're there, I'm going to utilize them in some way. So
that's how it should be.
Yeah. So, you got, even these days, you got a lot of deer hunters that they hunt from opening day of deer season to the last, and that's it.
That's it. Yep. I can't stand it. I don't know how people do it.
Well, I don't, just let the dog out for, every month at least.
Right.
let
Right.
it get a little exercise or whatever.
Yeah.
I understand that some places you can't turn them out on the outside. That's
Right.
understandable, but
Yeah.
there's enough enclosures to turn them out.
Especially down in Carolina.
Oh yeah, we have enclosures.
I mean, geez,
We,
I don't
we
know what the final count is on the enclosures down there, but I know it's over 100 now, ain't it?
are well over 100.
That's
Yeah,
what I thought.
there's plenty of places to exercise these dogs.
Right.
That was the main thing. Like I say, I just didn't want to have a dog for a whole year just sitting in a pen. So
Yep.
it just gave us a good avenue to use them throughout the year instead of just for a few months.
I like that. I
Yeah.
like that. It's funny the guys that do the last day to the first day rest. Then they first day they go out and the dogs are all whacked out and all kinds of crazy and they're not doing anything. They're like, I don't understand. The dog was perfect last year. Like, well,
Yeah. I can tell you some stories
I believe it.
about I've have messed with for people in pens
Yeah.
um and they get the hunting season and they don't perform for them like they should. So,
Mm-hmm.
but they've been
Yep.
sitting, they've been sitting for 6, 7 months, 8 months.
Yeah.
Kind of
Yeah.
hard for them to compete. That's been sitting that long.
Cast them out the box and look like Big Deborah rocking out there.
That, that's right. Like they've been eating little Debbie
Little
cakes.
Debbie cakes all year.
Yeah, but no, that's kind of where it all started. It stemmed from deer hunting, and that's gradually got to field trialing. And I've always pursued breeding for a 3-day type hound
I
rather
like
than
it.
puppy hunt 1-day style dog.
Mm-hmm.
I feel and everybody's got their opinions. I feel
That's
that
right.
a true bred fox dog should be able to run 3 days, 15
Yep.
5 hours a day. And if he can't, I don't think he's worthy breeding to,
I like that.
or
I like
she,
that.
or
Yeah.
maybe. So
No,
that's
I'm
always
with you on that.
important, and been same dogs for forever. Um, I know some people say, especially here in Carolina with the coyotes, some people say the dogs are old or not as good as the dogs are new, vice versa, whatever. But I'm still running pretty much the same bloodlines I always have. So
Okay.
um,
And
they
you've had some good success over the past couple of years too.
I have I've had some good success. We I breed and raise and start everything in house. And that's another trait of mine that's not normal in the fox
Mm-hmm.
hunt.
Right.
And that's I think that goes back when I said I'm not competitive as some, which I feel like I'm very competitive with my dogs. But
Right.
if I don't have a group of dogs I'm not competing with, I've never felt the need to go buy a dog to compete with. So that's
I can
I would,
respect that.
yeah, I would rather have another litter and go through them and try to find me one
Yeah.
than to
Yeah.
go.
I respect that a lot actually.
Um, so and that's and I come up playing through sports, playing baseball, and I was extremely competitive, but um, I like to do it my way. I like to raise bone dogs, and I just like that aspect of it.
Yeah.
I'm not I don't think anybody's wrong by buying dogs and going competing. I don't
Right. Right.
think anything's wrong with that, but that's just not the way I do things.
Yeah. Especially when you're established in it. You know, the new guy getting in, it's a little different. But when you're established in it, yeah, I can respect that a ton.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
You
Some
know.
some people, like you say, you got it. You have to get established for sure, and have to have some dogs to get started.
Mm-hmm.
But that's kind of always been my thing. Is I'm breeding them and I'm raising them and I'm starting them myself, and I get what I get.
Yeah. I like
Uh,
that. The Hounds podcast would like to take a minute and talk about our friends over at Cajun Lights. When pleasure running at night or judging those nighttime field trials, you can put your trust in Cajun Lights. With the economical Cajun Bayou for the every now and then light user, the Cajun Micro for the nighttime feeds and around the house times, then the top level Cajun Blinder for those hardcore crossing getters at night. The Cajun Lights are headlamp style light that free up your hands for voice recorders or your GPS. They offer flood-style lights in red, amber, and a white walking light. Then the top of the line 4-level main beam light. If you're having a hard time catching crossings at night, give the Cajun light a try. And the red and amber setting to catch the game without distracting them, and with the easy flick of a switch, go back to your main beam light to catch your hounds in action and get those numbers. Visit their website today at CajunLights.com, and at the checkout, make sure you fill out the survey after your purchase and select Hounds Tales Podcast to receive 5% off your next purchase with Cajun Lights. Now, let's get back to the episode.
Yep.
And I seen where you had posted earlier you were going to start conditioning dogs again this year. That's pretty neat. Talk to me a little bit about that. What all does that entail for you doing that kind of thing?
So Lonnie, of course, he had it. We have, and he has a good setup at the Fox Pen. We have roughly about 40 individual kennels. So that when I say individual, we can hold up to roughly 40 dogs by themselves.
Okay, gotcha.
So which that helps, dogs who fight each other or
right.
finicky eating, we can contain them by themselves. So as where someone who has just open pens, they can't control them dogs. So
right.
As far as their eating habits. So anyways, that's a good setup, and I was blessed to get that from Lonnie. But yes, we run them Sunday afternoon. This is the schedule now. It might change when it gets warm, but we run them Sunday afternoon, 4 to 5 hours, and then Thursday morning, 4 to 5 hours.
I got you. Okay.
Depending on what the dog can handle, we might catch them out, but and then doctor them as needed. If something's wrong with them, we take care of them and we feed them. You have to bring no food unless some people have brought food. They requested to feed a certain feed, and I understand that, and we'll do that. But we have feed there and take care of them the best we can.
That's pretty neat. You don't really hear of, especially I'm up here in Virginia, so pens are limited up here, but so you don't really hear of anything like that up here. So that's a neat little deal you got going on.
Yeah, it's getting more and more popular in Carolina. And you take a guy, especially guys who work on shutdown, out of town type work guys.
Right.
It's very, very beneficial to them. Say they got 3 dogs. It benefits them greatly because they would have to worry about getting somebody come and get their dogs to run them and
take care of them, all that kind of stuff.
Care of them, so they're there in the pen. So we're taking care of them as well as keeping them in condition and in shape.
I like that. That's awesome.
It's a good avenue for someone. Someone that's got 15 dogs or so, it gets right pricey. But someone, someone with 3 or 4 dogs trying to keep them in shape, it really works out well.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's really not bad. I mean, like you said, for somebody that's going out of town for a few weeks, like on an out of town job or something like that, that's like a perfect avenue. Perfect.
It is, and I've had some people who are going on vacation. Instead of having to worry about somebody feeding their dogs, they can bring them there. We take care of them, and they get run at the same time. So it's a lot of avenues. It's like
I like that. Yeah, and I like that. So
pretty reasonable.
Not bad at all. Not bad at all. So we talked about it a little bit there with the Fox Preserve, C&M. I know that you got a whole lot to do with that. So, what is your involvement with the pen and kind of how that all come about? Because I know that's kind of a newer thing here.
That's very new. So Lonnie, of course, I've been running C&M since it was established. I guess roughly 20, maybe a little over 20 years. The McPhersons, Carterettes, Wayne Carteret kind of got it going, and had a vision, for that area. Built the pen, got it going, and they run it for a while, and then it had a few other. They actually owned the pen, of course, but it had a few other people that leased it that just didn't work out.
Right, I understood. Yeah.
Lonnie got the pen. Lonnie's a businessman, and Lonnie got the pen and has done. I think he had it 13 years.
Okay.
13 or 14. But anyways, Lonnie done extremely well with the pen.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Uh, he could not, in my opinion, which I'm tweaking a few things as far as the type of hunts we're having, but as far as the way the pen was run, um, eh, there's not much that needed to be changed at
Right.
all.
I've
Uh,
never heard anybody have any complaints about coming down there.
yeah, I mean that I'm still um, I'm feeding his game just like he always did because I felt like he always had great game and it was
Mm-hmm.
always in shape and healthy and conditioned. He showed me how to worm them and he showed me how to take care of the game. And I think that's the key in these preserves
Yeah. Yeah.
is is,
Absolutely.
is your animals as well as these guys hounds. They especially these days with all the access to medications and all
Yes.
and these hounds are in top condition shape. So I feel like your animals, your game needs to be in. No matter if it's fox or coyotes, they need to be in top condition shape. So
Right.
we try to run them balanced for sure. Try to run them and condition them hard as we can.
Yep. That's right.
Uh, Keep them ready for a field trial.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the key. The pen and the local guys there really um, they keep the pen run really hard. And for the most part, they take care of the game as needed.
Yep.
Because they know it's a place to field trial and we want game all year.
That's right.
But the key to that place is really running a hard and it's a hard running pen when the game is in shape like it is. So
Yeah. That's why I've never made it down there myself, but I've always heard that it is a barn burner when you come down there. You better be ready.
you need to be ready and it's I feel like it draws some of the best dogs in the country.
Yeah.
For if you come there and you compete, you're doing pretty good.
I like that.
You can compete almost anywhere. So,
Yeah.
of course, there's different style pens. Of course,
That's right.
guys, you got gray fox. You got red foxes and all. That's a different
Yeah.
style, but um, the style we're running here in Carolina is it
Better
is
hold
it's
on and get you some.
it like yeah. Bring sprint shoes, not your marathon shoes.
That's right.
It's but like I say, he done a fantastic job, um, and I did not have to change much. I'm tweaking a few things to make it easier for myself,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
other than that, the pen has been run fabulous for
Yep.
several.
Yeah.
Sure.
And that's one thing like I said, I've always heard is how well the pen was ran. Like when you come down there was no problems on game, there was no problems on running, and then everything was just clean. It was nice looking. It was a nice facility. Everything was just world class down there, and it sounds like the way that, you're going to be taking it over. And if you're going to keep things a lot the same, that it's probably not much is going to change with that. So I love hearing that. It's such a respect thing, towards Mr. Ward, that just shows how much respect for one you had for him and just shows the respect that everybody else did that, keeping it just like he had it was going to keep people coming and keep the pen running like it was.
Correct. Like I say, Lonnie is um, he's a fantastic guy with a great big heart.
Mm-hmm.
Some people would disagree, but I've been around him a lot. But Lonnie kind of had his ways, but he had a genuine heart and
Mm-hmm.
really liked to help people.
I've had several requests for him to come on here and talk too. I think we'll have to may have to push those
Well,
buttons a little bit and see if we can't make something happen.
yeah, he wouldn't sugarcoat anything for you.
I
I can, I,
bet.
I can guarantee you, he was Lonnie was straight to the point, and it didn't matter. And what I liked about him, it didn't matter who you were. It didn't
Mhm.
matter if it was your best friend or somebody he didn't know. He treated everybody the same.
I like
Uh,
that.
Come to the place, you got treated fairly and equally with everybody. And I've always field trial there for the most part. Of course, you have occasions, but for the most part, the pen I feel was the fairest pen, and it'll still be, but it was the
Right.
fairest field trialing pen in the country. Because Lonnie was a very big stickler on people doing the right thing. So
Gotcha. I like
so
that.
yeah, and with the master rules and these computer programs, um, you can see exactly what's going on in your enclosure with Joe.
Exactly.
So he studied that stuff extremely hard, and he knew what was going on at a field trial.
I like that.
So I that was a main key factor, and I think that's why it was a key factor that the place always had as many dogs as he wanted. There was never a time where he had to struggle to get people to come to field trials.
Right. How many? How big is that place?
It's roughly 325 acres.
Okay. We're going to take a quick second and pause this episode and talk about our partners over at Elite Nutrition. Our hounds, they're athletes, guys. They give us their all each and every time that they're casted. Elite Nutrition offers an all-natural products to give your dogs the natural benefits they deserve. From the canine remove and all-natural wormer to the Electro Boost paste for an electrolyte replenishment, body fluid balance, and blood flow improvement. They also have products like Active Dog Powder for recovery and joint muscle support, Essential Dog Powder for daily vitamins and minerals, probiotics, prebiotics, and enzymes, and then the Canine Lactate Powder for nursing dogs to help with milk supply. There are tons of other products for y'all to check out at CajunLights.com. Then click on the Elite Nutrition section to explore. When you go check out, only at CajunLights.com, use the code HTElite10 to receive 10% off your Elite Nutrition products. Again, that's HTELITE, the number 10, to receive 10% off Elite Nutrition products only via CajunLights.com. I've been using their products over the past couple months, and I could not be happier with the results. See for yourself today, and we want to thank Elite Nutrition for taking a step forward into this field trial sport. Now, let's get back to the episode, guys. I got you. So about how many dogs are you able to have for a hunt down there?
So, Lonnie would have up over 200 dogs.
Okay, I got you.
And that's one thing I'm changing. I feel like the pen runs better with between 125 and 150.
I can see that.
When I field trialing there, I personally would not go to some of the early hunts because I knew it was going to be big crowds of dogs. And,
yes.
And I would just help Lonnie judge.
Right.
Help him one way or the other. But there was some hunts there that I knew how many dogs would be there, and I just wouldn't go for that reason. Cause
yeah, understood.
When you get that many dogs in a place like that, you got a lot of dogs in the road, and
it gets messy.
It gets messy. Your true dogs are not performing like they should.
Right.
So I feel that 150 dog mark. That's with a puppy derby. I'm going to limit the all age and all to 100 dogs.
Fair.
But with the puppies and derbies, you got a few puppies in there that, of course, they just run straight lines typically, anyways, if they're true puppies. But
right.
They should. So if you see them swinging and swiping, you might need to look at the age. But
might need a picture of that birth date.
But anyways, for the most part, people are fairly honest about that. But so that 150 mark is a good number. 125 to 150 is a good number for that enclosure. Everybody got the right number.
That's what I was just about to say. Every pen, man, people don't realize that every pen has that like magic number where if you hit that magic number, it's a hunt. It is a hunt.
Yep. And we had 153 at the first hunt this year. And like I say, it's pretty new green, a lot of green game. Hadn't been field trial. They've been run, been field trial, and we had very few problems.
Good. That's awesome.
It was especially for about 3 hours. It was a.
Gotcha. What kind of is it? Is that a kind of a thick pen, or is it wide open? What kind of environment you got going on down there?
It's both.
A little bit of both.
Yeah, we have some Carolina bays, of course. They're the path out. There's paths in it, so that dogs. I remember when the pen was first built, them bays were tore a dog to pieces.
Yeah.
But there's some thick bays in there that helps the game out a little bit, and then there is some extremely open pines.
Gotcha.
There's probably a field in there. There's a field in there about 30 acres, 40, that they plant in corn or soybean, vice versa.
Okay. Yeah.
So when the corn, it's going to be corn this year. So when the corn starts growing, that of course that thickens that area up.
Yeah. That's them eye swellers.
It is. That's what I've been. If we could get to April when that storm starts growing, we'd be in good shape.
That's right.
Be,
Yeah, you can always tell when you get them dogs coming back. They've been in them fields. I mean, them just swolled up tight as you can be.
Yeah, especially the soybeans.
Oh God, them soybeans are. Then the front of the legs all tore all to pieces.
Yeah, when I of course that was years ago. All pens were night running back then.
Yeah.
Of course we just had foxes, just like you do in Carolina and Virginia now. But so yeah, when it was soybeans in that field, years ago, that would be because you let them run all night.
Mm-hmm.
That would beat a dog up for sure. His eyes would be rolled back in his head.
That's right.
Yeah.
Are y'all able to maintain any fox in that pen right now, or is it strictly coats?
I have put a few gray foxes in there, and they run okay.
Yeah.
The problem with foxes in coyote pens is the coyotes. The coyote typically kill them.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Problem with foxes. But every now and then you get a good one in there that's smart, knows how to avoid them coyotes, go up trees.
That's right.
And I got a few in there right now running pretty good.
Gotcha.
We scored them at the last field trial. We probably got a little over 20 crossings with foxes. So that's
right. I was gonna say that's right there. That's right. Good.
Yeah.
I guess that was probably in daylight too, right?
That was daylight.
Yeah. That's really good.
That's all daylight. Yeah.
Yeah. I know a lot of times when you got pens that do have mixed game in there, it's daylight running. It's hard to find a fox that'll run in the daylight when you got a mixed pen.
Oh, absolutely. Well, and I'm not saying a coyote's easier to run, but when you got an abundance of coyotes, of course that's what the dogs are going to run.
That's right. That's right.
And I feel like I put a few gray foxes in there and some dogs run them here and there.
Mm-hmm.
That's a win-win.
You get a dog lock on one of them gray foxes for an hour and a half. You talk about a point score.
Yeah.
That'll change the game right there.
If he can lock on one, yeah.
That's the thing. If he can lock on one.
Our dogs down here so used to heads up.
Yep.
It's hard for them to lock. I personally, since I run my dogs in there, I would love to have 100 of gray foxes in there.
Right.
I know another story.
Yeah, that's it.
I would, if I could find 100, I would have put them in there. But
yeah, they getting harder to find down y'all's way too.
They're very hard to find.
Yeah.
Well, I say they're hard to find. The trappers, they get so much more for a coyote. The trappers are focused on coyotes more than
that makes sense.
So
yeah, that makes sense.
They're using a bigger trap, so most of the foxes they catch are
right.
No good. So,
yeah.
But if somebody would focus on foxes, and I understand, get a lot more money for a coyote, and understand the money part of it. But there's foxes around. People just don't target them.
That's right. I get it. See, the gray foxes are just getting stupid hard to find up here. I mean, they're even doing a study on them up here in Virginia on the scarcity of the gray foxes.
So, I'm assuming you guys got right many coyotes in the wild.
Yes, a lot of coyotes in the wild.
Yeah. I just feel the coyotes kill grays and reds.
Yeah.
Wild, or if they're in an enclosure in the wild or whatever, I think that's the majority of your problem.
Yeah,
coyotes.
I agree.
Place you don't have foxes.
Yeah, we talked when they announced that they were going to have this study. We all joked about it up here, like, what the hell are they spending the money for on a study? I can tell you what it is. It's the coyotes. Like, right? Yeah. Ever since the coyotes were introduced, the population of the grays has just plummeted.
Yeah.
Reds are still hanging on pretty tough, but the grays are terrible, man.
Yeah. I mean, why? What's the reason? And since the coyotes are, pretty much local native, I mean, what's the reason and you can't have them up there in the pen?
I wish I could answer that for
You
you.
know, I know years ago, you had them.
Yep.
Matter of fact, years ago, um, I remember boys here from here would go to Billy's, to his puppy pen, to the puppy pen over there, and
Mm-hmm.
that was actually before we really had them.
Yeah.
As far as that kind of style running, but
Yeah.
yeah,
I don't.
you know, yeah, like I say, I knew they outlawed.
Yeah, I don't know what the I don't know why the reasoning behind the outlaw. I don't know all the ins and outs on that. I'd love to hear the exact reason. I'm sure it's probably a load of bull, honestly, but you know. Why they can't have the coyotes in the enclosures? Maybe it was a population thing back then, and they just never have updated. I think that's some of the stuff that I have heard is it was we didn't have a whole lot of coyotes there for a while, and then now we have way too many, and nobody's really attacked it. I don't think either to try to get it back. So maybe that's something that will happen, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean that would be definitely a way to control population.
Yes, that would help.
One way for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Trappers.
So now so now that you you're kind of do you own the pen or are you leasing the pen?
I'm leasing the pen.
Gotcha. So now that you're the leasee, what's your plans for it? Where do you want to see it go? What's some of your ideas that you want to see come along for the pen as far as hunts and stuff like that go?
Well, I'm going to keep the pen pretty much as it was on schedule. I am planning to have some bigger prize type hunts.
Okay.
Or some Garmin hunts, some buggy hunts. That's kind of where it's gearing to with one day all age hunts.
Gotcha.
People want big prizes these days.
That's right.
I'm still going to have some of these puppy derbies because there's a lot of people, especially young people, just getting started. They can't afford $200-$300 entry fee.
That's right.
So I'm going to do both, but I am going to mix in a couple of them big hunts.
I like that. What about as far as multi-day hunts go?
Multi-day hunts, I'm going to keep it the same. We have a 2-day in July, and we have the 3-day first week of December.
Gotcha.
I'm not going to change that at all.
Gotcha.
And the reason being is I multi-day myself, and I have decided when I took the pen over I was not going to run in any hunts. So if I'm there at a multi-day, I can't be somewhere else at a multi-day.
I like that.
So that's the reasoning behind that. I've just made the decision that if I'm going to operate the pen, run the pen, and it's going to be my hunts that I'm putting on, I'm not going to run in them.
I respect that a lot. That's a big thing. A lot of I see both sides of people running in them, but I respect both sides. I'm not saying I disrespect the other side, but I think I have a lot more respect for somebody that's doing like you're doing and says, you know what, it's time to, it's not my place to step in and run in my own pen, and I like that.
Yeah, and that's why I'm not going to have more multi days because it's going to take a time. I could have 4 3-days in there, but
right.
That would eliminate me from going somewhere for multi-day. So
that's right.
So that's how I'm going to work that.
I like that.
Yeah. I'm not saying, just like, and I've told several people, if something crazy happened and some kind of big hunt come there and run in, kind of like they did the World Cup last year or several years now, running different pens, and it was in that pen, I wouldn't say I wouldn't run in something like that.
Yeah.
That somebody has a stat, it's a hunt somebody else is putting on and they're getting the judges. All I do is
provide the pen.
Yeah, offer the pen for them. So
right, I like that.
But and don't know if I'd do it then, but I'm not going to say I wouldn't. That's not
right. Depends on the circumstances.
Depends on the circumstances at that time. But as far as the hunts that I put on, or the 1-day hunts in the pen, I will not run in them. So
I like that. Yeah. I like that a lot. Let's kind of move into the something that you've established for this year for the pen that I thought was actually just incredible. It's something to me that is an overlooked thing, especially for one day hunts, but even more for multi-day hunts is your judge's incentive. Let's kind of talk about that for a minute and explain the incentive to everybody, kind of what you have going on, and then we'll kind of talk about where the idea come from.
So, with the judges, and as everybody knows, judges getting these days is like pulling teeth now. And for the most part, early in the year is pretty easy. Then things gradually go downhill. So anyway, I feel, and me and Lonnie's talked about this for years, about creating a some type of seminar class type thing.
Yes.
And hold it at different pens in different areas in different parts of the country, and get well known judges, master hound type judges to come there and give their opinions on different topics on the hunt. I feel like there's several people, especially young people, that would judge, but they're hesitant because nobody is helping them along the way as far as judging.
And I agree 100%.
They don't want to feel embarrassed,
right?
They don't really know what to do.
Yep.
So I kind of put that out there, hoping to get some younger people more involved at the one days, and which would possibly carry into some multi-day type hunts.
I like that.
And it's not it's not a great deal of money, of course.
Right.
You still ain't really paying them for their time that they're there, but it gives them something to look forward to. Hey, I can win a collar or some cash.
Yeah.
Which I pay them a little gas money when they come, and of course feed them, and we try to take care of the judges as best we can when they're there. And Lonnie always has. Lonnie always. And most people didn't know because he done it in the judge's room. If you didn't judge in there, you would never know. But Lonnie always gave 2 gift cards out in the judge's room. So I kind of followed that lead. I'm just doing it
a little more public.
Little more public, and it's a little more money.
Gotcha.
But I kind of doing the same thing he did. Really, it's just no different. I'm just he did $25 gift cards, and I'm doing a collar.
Yeah. Right. No, and it's funny. It seems like that conversation about the class keeps getting brought up more and more and more. I know Dustin Morris up here at Demo up here at Pools, he's been talking about it. So, trying to get that idea down. It sounds like that's something that's like on the door, like people are knocking on it, just trying to make it actually come together is what's got to happen.
Well, there's some of us here locally. We've discussed it very thoroughly here lately, and it's going to happen.
Awesome.
We're going to start something, and it's not just for new judges. It's for this is the only sport that I know of that there's no. Of course, we got a rule book, but there's no real criteria of how to score a dog.
Yep.
Or how to give that dog. There's so many different variables of ideas of how a dog should score points.
Yep.
So I just think there needs to be a seminar and things discussed, or a class, or whatever you want to call it. Things of the best way to score a dog at crossings.
I agree wholeheartedly with that.
And of course, as you know, the hunting and trailing and all that in Carolina is about a thing of the past,
right?
Because of the number of animals of having these enclosures on.
Yes.
Up like at pools or such. That's a very important thing to have a class on. Is when is a dog hunting? When is a dog trailing? When he's fell in the heart, of course.
Right.
But in Carolina, there's not many pens, in my opinion, that a dog would deserve hunting. There's just too much running going on.
Yeah. By the book.
By the book. There's some times that, at a multi-day hunt, the third day, that it gets a little quiet, but for the most part, there's not. And the problem with that is, with these coyotes, a dog is so wired up
Right.
Yeah, and I'm just, because I still hunt mine on the outside and the inside. But when they get after these coyotes, they are so wired up. It takes them a while to settle down.
Yep.
Out, they're not thinking about hunting because there's so much
Yep.
game everywhere.
Yep.
But I would love to see some type of large scale classes going on in the whole country.
Yeah.
And
I know I would go.
yeah, we're going to do one sometime in late spring and the summer here.
Okay.
Don't know what pen it'll be at, but we are definitely going to do something.
Awesome. It's a little bit of a drive for me, but maybe I'll have to make it down. The Hounds podcast is happy to announce our newest partnership with Low 10 Outfitters. If your kennel is looking for new apparel to rock to the next field trial, look no further than Low 10 Outfitters. They offer shirts, hats, hoodies, coats, and other accessories with custom logos for your kennel or your hound to go on. With top quality merchandise and long-lasting quality, you can't go wrong with Low 10 Outfitters. And very soon we will be offering Houndstail podcast apparel on their website at low10outfitters.com. So be on the lookout for that coming up here soon. Thank you, Low 10 Outfitters, for teaming up with the Houndstails podcast. And don't forget, guys, low10outfitters.com to get your apparel for your kennels. Now, let's get you back to your episode.
Yeah, I think it'll be on the weekend or something, but just to kind of get something started, and hopefully it'll just continue a trend. But with the thing with the judges, used to in the past when I started, you went to a hunt, and even 3 days, went to a hunt, you won. Even if you won, you won a $25 trophy. Well, back then, $10 trophy. But now, these judges are seeing these guys win trucks and thousands and thousands of dollars at these hunts, and they need to be rewarded somehow.
Yes.
It's different when I just felt like it was different when you were just giving trophies back, and there was nothing. Everybody was kind of equal. But now, with all the money being generated, there needs to be some type of way. Not of course not paying them like a job, but some type of incentive to help them out.
Right.
Give them a feeling of respect and, hey, we want you to be here judging our dogs, because I done the math the other day. There's only at C&M, there's about 10% of people that run or that hunt at C&M field trial.
Mm-hmm.
About 10% that may have judged in the last 10 years. So
wow.
I would bank that it's probably like that everywhere. So,
100%. Yeah. Gosh, yes.
So 90% of the hunters that are not helping out at all.
Yeah. And it's a shame. It really is a shame.
It is. I've spoke with Ronnie Norris a few times about this, and of course he's told me to write a letter to the masters and whatnot. I just have not did it, but I would like to see, if you're competing for any leaderboard points at all, that you would have to
be required
to judge a certain amount of hours.
Yep.
Whether it be and it wouldn't have to be a 3-day field trial or 2-day. Be your local puppy pen to get hours.
Right.
Everybody can go somewhere a weekend, especially here in Carolina, because we got to hunt every weekend somewhere close, within the hour from you. And judge a hunt, help somebody out. So,
I got a pile of pins down there.
We have
golly,
and we have a lot of hunters, and but like I say, if the hunters would learn to just participate in the judging aspect of it a little bit, we would be a lot better off.
I always tell people too, like if you're having a hard time placing a dog and you're wondering why, go judge a hunt and you're gonna see why.
Go see why. It'll open your eyes on what's going on, because in a field trial, just like the C&M, I typically run the limit pleasure running during the day is 30 dogs. Sometimes we'll go a little over that, but you take a dog that's running with 15 to 30 dogs, and you put him in there with 150 dogs, things change.
You talk about a shell shock to a lot of dogs.
It's a big difference, and I've always said, I got that 17-year-old son, and there's a difference between a field trial dog and a dog.
Right.
some dogs can do it both, but there's a field trial dog he's got to have the ability. He's got to be a pretty smart animal
Yeah.
to control impacts of dogs.
Yeah. I had a buddy of mine that had a dog that when you pleasure ran it, you ran it on the outside and she was $1 million. I mean, she looked great. She had good speed, had a good head on her shoulders. And you take her to a field trial and she'd come back with 0 points every time. Every time. We're like, what in the world's going on? So we went, I'm not a buddy hunt person by any means, but a buddy hunt person. Buddy hunt, you can watch what your dog's doing in there. We took her to a buddy hunt, and the dog went and laid in the woods 30 yards from cast for an hour and a half, and then every time a big pack would come by, she'd go and tuck back in the woods. She was scared of a big pack. Right. She would not run with a big pack. She just absolutely made her buckle down. And they're like, well, there's your answer right there.
Yeah. And even though they run with big packs, some dogs just cannot handle big packs of dogs.
Right.
They got to have the mental ability. And sometimes that makes a bad outside dog when he'll stretch out, swing, try to. It's a fine line, Some there's some that could do both of it, but a field trial dog is not necessarily a great outside dog for sure.
That's a fun topic.
That's a big topic.
You tell somebody their pen dog can't run on the outside, you ruffle some feathers there.
Yeah, I'm not saying they can't run, but it's when you have several animals in an enclosure, it's not hard to run them.
That's right. That's right. Well, I can't wait to see where y'all go with this judges class. This is something that you kind of were talking about a little bit. We have a rule book, but there's so much gray area in everything on there. Between the scratches, there's not very many ways that you score or scratch a dog that are just black and white. It is, all right, this is how it is. This is what you're looking for. This is it. It is a lot of discretion.
Yeah, opinions,
and guys that, I grew up with dogs. You've been around dogs a long time. Sounds like you grew up a lot with dogs. So, growing up with dogs, what to look for, what this is, what cunning running is, not that that's even a scratch anymore, but what a actual difference between a dog that's babbling and just excited barking a few times,
Correct.
It's we know that kind of stuff, and I'm not trying to say that I'm perfect by any means, but I know a little bit what to look for in a dog, and it can kind of tell a little bit of a difference on things. But you got guys that are coming in here that, maybe just went to a field trial with a buddy a couple of years ago and liked it and said, okay, I want to get into this. Mm-hmm. Those guys got a lot to learn about that kind of stuff. And without black and white, it's hard to teach.
It's impossible to teach because they're hearing different aspects or different opinions from several different people. And some of them they respect a lot and been in hound hunting a long time, but they, it's just like I say, it just needs to be a black and white way to do things.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, in the field, things are variables.
That's right.
But there needs to be, like I've mastered several hunts over the years, and I tell my people, judges, that listen. I agree with scratching a dog more than anybody, but especially down here with all this game, I tell them to make sure for 100% that the dog is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Because just like just like that first place crossing, I want him to earn that first place crossing as he earns to be scratched.
That's right.
So I want you to make sure that he's in the wrong before you scratch him.
That's why
I agree with scratching a dog more than anybody, as far as if the dog's doing wrong. So
that's why I'm a big fan of the 2-scratch rule with the masters.
Absolutely. You got a dog, especially in the pen the size of C&M. Typically, that dog's going to get seen by multiple judges. If he's, especially a mouthy fault, he's going to get seen by 4, 5, 6 judges.
Right. I agree.
Not going to be a one-time instance. You got these. You got bigger pens, such as like in pools, you could get away with something, but these smaller pens, A dog's gonna.
You're gonna get seen.
I mean, a dog's gonna show up if he's doing wrong. So, um, and if he only does it one time, and you second guess yourself, and and you don't do it no more, well, it is what it is. So,
That's right, and even those scratches will carry over into multi-day hunts. That's what I like about it too. Yeah, he might get away with it at a one-day hunt, but to get away with it multiple days, it's very unlikely.
Very unlikely if he's not a clean dog.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Smaller pins for sure.
It's always funny. You go to some of these hunts. I know we had a 2-day derby up here at Hollywood a couple years ago, and this poor dog got whacked by everybody in the pen. He had a whole page to himself with scratches. It won't no hiding that one.
I've seen. Yeah, that's what they like. I say, it typically they get seen by more than one judge if they're doing wrong.
That's right. That's right.
But I do like the 2 scratch rule for sure with the I really like the master program. I was a national guy forever, and when the masters come out and you could show everybody or display or everything was in writing as far as the judges' scores and everything was out there in white and black.
Yep.
Here's what my judges scored, and when the nationals did not follow suit, I kind of fell out with the national. But
I understand that.
Yeah. I think if it's available, and I don't think if the pen, even though if they don't post the judges' scores, if they're having a masters hunt, they're still available.
Yep.
If somebody questions something. So
exactly.
I just don't. I personally don't want to go somewhere if they don't feel like they can post their judges' scores. That's just since it's available now. Before it was available, that was another thing. But now since it's available, and it just feels like you're hiding something to me.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
But if you got the capability to show your hunters how each dog that place got scored, why not?
Yep. I've had that. I mean, with my series last year, I had a guy call me, and he's like, I have reason to believe that this dog was scored up by this person. I said, okay, give me 2 minutes. I went to my computer because I have the computer that the program is on. I said, then that's for that reason, So I went and pulled up the computer. I said, I found the dog, found his scores. Here's all his crossings. I took a picture of it, sent it to the guy. I said, which hunter scored him up? And it was clean. It was clean as a whistle.
Right.
Like, there it is. Yeah. What more can you ask for?
That's right. And that's a big aspect for for that program.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's definitely a tool that everyone should use these days in field trialing.
Yep. Well, I hope one that y'all touch on is running a damn cover track. I want to know what everybody's opinion on that thing is.
Dogs get scored on running cover track. Some of them get track.
God, I hate that rule. Oh my God, man, I hate that rule. You ask 5 different judges, you're gonna get 6 different answers on what a cover track is. I can't stand that rule.
That is something that needs to be clarified.
It needs to be taken out of the rule book. Is what it needs to
be. well, there's a time when it is running.
Oh yeah, for sure.
There's a time, and and the main wording in there, if it's interfering with the race, that's the main wording that people.
Just like babbling, interfering with the race.
That's right. So and what most people, especially young hunters, they don't understand these rules are written. When years ago, when people were running gray foxes and there was one race.
Right.
They were not in an artificial environment with several races going on. It was they were trying to catch that piece of game.
Mm-hmm.
And if you had a dog that messed up, that run a track backwards or babbled over there, and he say you running a gray fox in a bay and they made a loss and you had a dog babbling, well, it would just break up that whole race. So that was the reason. That's why that fault's there.
Yep.
But the artificial environments we run in these days is it's hard to say what a dog's doing, so.
Right.
But
Yeah. A lot of, like you said, that rule books, a lot of, especially the nationals,
it
that rule book was probably written before a lot of these hunters were born, including myself.
it was written 100 years ago. I mean, it was
Right.
that was
Right.
yeah. I mean, that rule book was written when they were actually field trialing on the outside, running one particular fox. I mean,
Yeah.
that was a whole different ball game back then.
Yeah.
Sure.
Still got the rules about riding the horses and stuff in it too.
Same. That's right. Same scenario. So a lot of that needs to be going through
Mm-hmm.
um and reworded for
Yep.
for the enclosures.
Yep. And just an update.
Uh,
Not a, yep.
that's all.
Yep.
Because, like I say, we are running in artificial environments typically,
Right.
um, and it's not like running on the outside.
That's right.
Trying to, back then, and I'm assuming there was some type of trapping, but years ago, when I mean they were trying to catch them predators to kill them. I mean
Yeah.
they were trying to get rid of them. So,
Right.
as far as eating chickens and livestock, and that was the way they got rid of them years ago. So they
Right.
didn't want a dog to mess up no race. If he messed up a race, here's the way I explain it to young people that deer hunt. If you're running a 140-inch buck,
Mm-hmm.
and you got a good race going on, and you got one dog that comes in there and takes it the wrong way, messes up that race, well, you're gonna be mad at that dog.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of how that's the scenario I use to people.
Yeah.
If you mess
Yeah.
up a race, that's the dog. That's a fault.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's something that we've talked about too, just, and just having conversations with people is when people don't scratch dogs for faults, people aren't realizing that their dogs are messing up in the pens. You're giving these dogs their forgiveness and letting them get another chance when these owners of these dogs need to know that, hey, look, maybe you're not seeing this with your pleasure running, but when he's in here with 150 dogs, he's screwing up. This is what he's doing. You need to know about it. And that, to me, I haven't been in the sport for too awful long, but to me, that's a downfall of it, is people not scratching what needs to be scratched, because now these guys are thinking that their dogs are okay. Oh, he just had a bad day. Not realizing that, no, you probably need to cull that dog. That dog needs to go to somebody that just runs on the outside and deer hunts or something like that. That dog's got to go.
That's correct. Yeah. Yeah. Just and definitely, don't breed them traits in other dogs.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
that's when field trials started years ago. I mean, that was the reason for them, is to create field trials to create dogs to produce good traits.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of fell to the wayside for it, especially show dogs. People are because I feel like a dog should be able to do it all, if you're gonna breed to him.
Right.
But that's kind of the show part of it has kind of fell to the wayside.
Yeah. Unfortunately. God, I love a bench show.
Unfortunately, it has. I was fortunate enough when I was coming up. Pamlico and Manning was down there, and Pamlico and Manning had one day HGAs at least once a month, sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
and I always had a bench show Friday night. So
Right.
you didn't go to a multi-day hunt, and that's the good thing what Lonnie does. Lonnie always had a bench show, so it kind of teaches people what they need to look for. But
Yeah.
and Lonnie got that from Pamlico, and man, that's why he's still carrying on that tradition, and I will as well.
I like that.
So it's, instead of me as a young guy coming up having to go to multi-day hunts, I could go down there for a weekend and still participate in the bench show atmosphere.
I like that.
I learn a lot at them hunts. We just don't.
Yeah.
We just don't have that no more.
Right.
At most facilities. So.
I love a bench show, and one of the things that I've always thought was how do I word this, disappointing to see. You look back in some of the magazines and some of the old history pictures of the sport when they're showing the bench shows, and they're in gymnasiums, and they're in these nice facilities, and these guys are in almost suits. Like they're in nice dress shirts, their ties. I mean, these guys are looking fancy. You know, these guys are looking nice. And
Yeah,
then you go to bench show now, and there's guys in cut off shorts and Daisy Dukes and out there trying to show up in,
yeah,
to a bench show.
yeah.
And I'm like,
It,
man, where? I mean, I get it. Don't get me wrong. It's a new day. It's modern. Whatever. But it's like, man, to see the respect and like the honor that those older houndsmen had about the bench shows, like it was just like, man, where did we lose that?
right. Well, and there it goes back to traits. Breed for traits that you like, but
Mm-hmm.
breed for traits that continue to better the foxhound.
Mm-hmm.
And we're getting, and I think it's kind of changing. We got to where we just focused more on speed. That you were definitely breeding some of that out. But
Right.
it's people are realizing that
Yep.
speed don't get it done all the time. So
That's right. That's right.
kind of that phase, I believe we're behind. I hope so.
Yeah.
Um,
I've started feeling like that too. Even just the short amount of time that I've been in, I felt like there's a turn coming where people are looking for more of that track running ability more than just trying to be a greyhound and run.
they are.
Yep.
There was a phase there everybody went through, and it's coming back to
Yep.
true dogs again. From what I see,
Yeah.
especially locally and abroad, because I mean I kind of pay attention to what people are running and what's doing well in multi.
Yeah.
So it's that's a good sign that
I got you. I like that.
as far as breeding dogs and all.
So, let's move it to a little bit of your personal hunting, man. If I remember right, last year you had a pretty good little year, didn't you?
Last year, yeah, we
I think you hit a lick down at the was it the Big W Memorial Hunt down there at Old Tram? Ain't that right? Or was that the year before last?
year before the Big W Memorial, we see I made a duel and a bench champion.
Yeah.
And I had a group of solid white dogs.
Yeah, that's why I remember it. Yes, sir.
They done real well for us.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I lost the best one.
Oh man.
She just I got a low battery here. She just I was running over at double in and she got hung up in a she just it was an accident. But
I got you.
anyways, lost her and kind of set me back for a little bit. Kind of
Understood.
a little upset about it. But anyways, but the male, I still got a male, and he does, and that them dogs are I guess 5 or 6 years old now. So
Oh wow, I didn't realize they were that old.
yeah, I'm thinking about bringing him to the All American. To be honest with you, that's how tough,
Okay.
super tough dog.
Yeah.
And that's what they were. That's why they performed so well at Mitchell's there. But because they were tough, and that's a tough 3-day to go to.
Yeah. That's a hard running pin too.
It's a hard running pin. It's a smaller pin, so running's in their face all the time. So it wears most dogs down.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Good there. I got a litter of Ringer Rays. I've done very well with. Right now, I got a litter of Chromes. I'm looking very forward to this year. So
Gotcha.
won a few 1-day hunts with them.
Yeah.
Second at the Winter Classic here a few weeks back.
Okay.
But looking forward to them this year for sure. So
I still have 2 of my Chromes, and I'm very, very pleased with them. Very pleased with them.
yeah, mine are and the reason I bred the Chrome is not because his status or what he's done.
Yeah.
Is what from what I've seen, them dogs produce anywhere. They produce on wide open coyotes or hardly any running foxes.
Yep.
So that's what kind of dog I'm looking for that can run at any condition. So
Right.
and that's how mine are. They are a lot of people I wouldn't say don't like Brandon, but but most of it is jealousy.
Yeah.
In my opinion, most of it's jealousy, and Just, oh, well, people say, well, Chrome's just been bred to so many times. I said, well, he has, but he had to start producing at one time. And I judged Chrome when he was at C&M. It was at the Breeders' Cup several years
Okay.
right before he got hurt.
Yep.
And he won it by a large margin. Second day, especially, he dominated.
Right.
But yeah, he's Chrome has definitely done his part, and he's definitely a great producer for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. So what kind of bloodlines are you keeping around? I know you kind of hinted on that a little bit earlier.
So my main bloodline, I had a dog. Named John Deere years ago, and he was off a dog. He was off a Tuscarora Marvin, which Johnny Stevenson raised, and
Okay.
A dog off of Lightfoot, Jimmy's Lightfoot, which is Jimmy Brown that owned Jimmy Ziploc. The same Jimmy
Gotcha.
Brown. But Ray Castine down here had had Lightfoot, and we bred a Jip to Lightfoot, which is out. Lightfoot was outside dog, and Black and Tan, he was Lightfoot dog. But anyways, so I bred that Jip to Tuscarora Marvin, and I had a dog named John Deere, and pretty much everything I have to date, even the white dogs, went back to John Deere. Because he was a true. She done pretty well in the pen as well, but he was a true dog on the outside.
Gotcha.
And that's what I bred to.
Where did that white get thrown in at?
So the white, I went down to, and that's a great. This is how long that me and my wife's been married 20 years, and this was before then when we were dating. We went We went down to Gary Gowan's to get some puppies, and I at that time I had all black dogs, mainly, of course, Tuscarora Marvin. I started out with some Pine from Little Tom Ipock. He had Pinedale Hunter B at the time back then.
Okay.
So I had a few puppies from him I really liked, and so anyway, Gary Gowan was doing real good with them Smoky G's at Manning.
Yep.
So I'm gonna get, I said I'm gonna go get me some of them puppies. So I went down there, and he told me what he had, and I had already kind of decided on what I was getting before I got there, as far as the crosses.
Right.
So I went and picked them out, and we were leaving. I got 4 or 5 of them, and we were leaving different litters. And my wife seen this white puppy, lemon. When I say white, lemon. And, she had some light lemon on her, and in there with a bunch of black and tan looking dogs. And Gary said, "Oh yeah, that's all such and such." And to this day, I still don't think that was the right. But regardless, I had to go with what the paper said. But it could have been an oddball. You know how that is.
Right. Yeah.
So, anyways, we bring this little Jip back. Called her Phoebe, and Phoebe, unfortunately, got a tick disease at a fairly early age. And but she at the PD, I can't remember what year it was. But South Carolina State back then, the South Carolina State was in September, and the PD was in November.
Okay.
South Carolina State, we were down there field trialing, and she went out third or fourth the last day. And I mean, I'm back then said make $100 down there.
Yeah.
And me and Stephen Fowler, we rode. There used to be a trailer in there. You rode in there. You could watch them dogs. And we watched that dog for 2 or 3 hours, just drag dogs running them red foxes in there. And so, anyways, I always pulled around. I was young back then. I always pulled around a pop-up camper. Thought I was, but so, anyways, I got back to that gate. I don't know if you ever went to Manning. I don't know if you.
Nah.
Well, anyway, at Manning, at the Big Pen Manning, at the main gate there was a road. I don't know. That road was probably half a mile long. It was long. It was a long straight road you could see down there to a T.
Okay.
And so, anyways, we got in the last hour. You had to come out the last hour. So
right.
I went back to that pop-up camper, and my chest all bowed out. Popped me a Miller Lite, and I had some chairs there. I was sitting in one of them chairs, and it was where I could see down that road from where I was at, and I seen a white dog.
Oh no!
Come around that curve way down there, and of course back then the running, back then they scratched their dogs.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't uncommon the first day to have 25, 30 dogs scratched, and the next day 70 or 80 dogs. That wasn't uncommon. So
Right.
there was a bunch of dogs coming to the gate. That wasn't uncommon at all. Well, um, as that dog come to that gate, and we had just seen her, 30 minutes before this, and
Right.
I said, "Oh, that looks like my dog." I walked to that gate, and sure enough, she come right there and come up there just like she was a lab or something. and like I said, I don't breed for that. I normally, if I have one, they going
He better finish.
they hard strong. And
Yeah.
so, anyways, so then a couple months later, same thing at the PD. She didn't go out as high. She was 7th or 8th.
Mm-hmm.
She did the same thing, come up there.
Ah.
But I knew she was a good dog, and so I went to breeding her, and
Yeah.
and that's where that white. I bred her to John Deere, and got a dog. I got 3 different colors that I kept. I got a Ulema one, I got a solid red one, and I got a nice blanket back one.
Huh.
The lemon one I bred to the Superman dog that Lonnie had.
Okay. Yeah.
That's where the white dogs come from.
Gotcha.
And I'm going to breed them. Just a matter of time. I think David Christian up there's got one he bred recently.
Gotcha.
I sold him one a while back.
I was wondering, man. I'm a white dog dude, so
yeah. It doesn't matter what color you are to me.
That's right.
For the most part, the old style white dog that we was running gray foxes with do not perform on these coyotes. Them particular dogs could perform. I think it's because that Susquehanna Marvin side of them. So,
okay, I gotcha.
They could really, to far speed, they could perform.
Gotcha.
But yes, that was an outstanding litter. And I hope we get some outstanding puppies off of them.
That's right. So let's dig back in the archives then. What's your favorite dog that you've owned so far?
So, year to date, the one I lost, I had a dog named Lola. She was a white dog, and that's probably to date. I got a dog named Sky that I still have right now that I got puppies off of her. But Lola, as far as all around dog, was probably the best dog I ever owned. Yeah, and she just I placed her second at Grassy Branch at that 3-day they had. And placed fourth at Double N. That was the 2-3 days she was in.
Mm-hmm.
She died on me. Damn. But she was. I remember I was running at Mitchell's, and me and Bunky Williams was running on a Sunday. It was hot. Mm-hmm. I said, Bunky, I'm gonna make that dog a bow tie champion right there. But anyway, I lost her. But she definitely was the one that you look for at a field trial.
The one that got away.
She got away, and I had a few more over the years. I was upset I didn't get puppies off of, but I would love to have. And like I say, I got some more gyps off of that litter, but
right,
and they've done okay, but they're not the dog she was.
They want her.
No, even the male dog we got, which is a champion, he's not the dog. She just didn't get enough time to.
Yep.
To perform.
Do you tend to gravitate more towards a male or a female?
Female.
Female, really?
Like females better. Of course, I keep both. But
that's right.
I like females better.
Yeah. I'm a male guy, man. I love a male. Like a big old tough male. God, that's something about a big old tough male dog.
Yeah, I'd lean more towards. I like females a little better, but like I say, if I have. Say if I have 2 litters of puppies out there, I'll keep half and half.
That's right.
That's right. Go through them. So.
Yep.
But I don't have. I'm not partial to either one, but I do like females as far as in the pens, and you ain't got to particularly worry about them fighting. And
Right.
But you got, they come in heat, of course, that throws you out.
Yeah, that's what I can't stand.
Yeah,
God.
that's the only problem. Is when you're trying to field trial, of course, all of them gonna come in at the same time.
Yeah, you playing and playing and playing, and then all of a sudden, bam,
Yeah,
start bleeding, start
so
swelling up. I'm like, golly.
you just have enough males. You just take the males in.
That's right.
But yeah, he was probably like I say, I had several dogs over the years, going through the years. But looking back, she's probably the best one.
Ah, what's been your most successful hound?
Um, Most successful. I had a dog named Roxy
Okay.
years ago. She was my most successful hound.
Yeah.
Trial.
Gotcha.
Yeah, she was off.
Gotcha.
I actually got her from Tom Hop too. She was off.
Okay.
She went back to Pencil as well. I think Pencil. I think he had a. She was straight off of Pencil in a female. Yeah, she was a nice dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't get no puppies off her.
Man, you gonna have to start breeding early or something.
Well, she just wouldn't. She wouldn't. She did live, but she just wouldn't. She wouldn't. She couldn't.
I got you. I got you. I got you. All right, y'all. Now it's time for Around the Howl, presented by Elite Nutrition. Just make sure you check out their products, Elite Nutrition products, at CajunLights.com, and for 10% off of Elite Nutrition products when you use the code HTELITE and the number 10. That's HT Elite 10 at checkout. All right, let's get it rocking. All right, this week and Around the Howl, not a whole awful lot going on. One thing I'm going to try to do, and I've been slacking this week. I've had a very busy week. It's actually, speaking of news, I guess you could say, it's my son's third birthday today, on the day that this released, on March 5th. So, big happy birthday to my little boy. He'll be 3. And, man, I just don't know where time has gone. I can't wait to get him out in the field. I know that much. He's getting excited. He's getting excited going to the dog lots and messing with the dogs already. So, hopefully we got us a little houndsman in the making, but we'll see. But anyway, what we're going to try to do here in the next couple of weeks is, from now on with this, is let y'all know what hunts are coming up. I know me personally, I will be at the Southeastern this weekend down at Billy Pool's Fox Hound Preserve, and going to have 3 good days of hopefully some good running down there. Definitely going to be getting after some hunting scores, I believe. Early in the season, man, it always has a little breakdown, and we're usually getting after a hunting score, hunting for hunting, baby, hunting for hunting. So we'll see how this goes. I'm excited. It's going to be the first 3-day that I've attended this year, so I'm pretty excited to get down there and see everybody again and interact with all my Foxhound family. So that's kind of the big only really thing I got for this week. Sorry, I don't have a whole lot going on. I believe that's it right off the top of my head. I didn't get much of a chance to write it down. Like I said, it's been little man's birthday this weekend, and so I've been right busy this week with getting everything ready for this trip coming up, and of course little man's birthday. So definitely try to do a little better next week, but I believe that is it, and we will move right on into the spotlight. And thank you again for Elite Nutrition for this section of Around the Howl. It's now time for the Spotlight, presented by Cajun Lights. This is where each week we will recognize winners and other accomplishments across the field trial world. Now let's shine a light on these guys and these dogs, and let's get to this week's winners. All right, we are going to dive into the Spotlight, presented by Cajun Lights, for the week of March 5th, 2025. We are going to start with and I got as much information as I could on these hunts, like usual. A lot of times it's hard to get all the information that I'd like to get sometimes, but I got what I could, and we're going to look into the Mississippi State that was this weekend. We'll start off with the Derby. The combination and Derby winner for this hunt was TCK Charlie, and that dog is out of RNS Doughboy and ISK Millie. I believe that's the name, if that's correct. And that dog is out of TCK Kennels. So congratulations to y'all on your combination and Derby winner. And then we move on to the all age. For the Derby, I did miss the Best Mouth and the Classy Hound, and I did miss the bench show on this hunt. So I do apologize for that, and I'm going to try to, as best I can, all these hunts coming up, I'm going to try my best to make that happen. But for the all age, the Best Mouth was out of Tufts Joe Dirt Smith and Tufts Old Charter Smith. I'm sorry, I blew that all to pieces. The hound's name was Tufts Joe Dirt Smith, and that dog is out of Tufts Old Charter Smith and Tufts Lil Bryn Smith. I hope I got all that right, and I didn't see a kennel name, or if I did, I just completely forgot to write it down. So I do apologize for that. And same thing with the combination, which the combination is, hound's name is SS Cool Pup, and that dog is out of Dry Branch Archie and SS Red Gal. And then for the field champion, there was no dual champion from what I could tell. The field champion was also voted as the classiest hound, and that is Parker's White Girl. This dog is out of champion Heinz Big Ben R and Franklin's Radar. Mr. Charles Parker, congratulations on your new champion and classy hound. So, and then I know we talked about it last week in the episode, guys. The Masters was this past weekend down at Selhorns. Looked like a great show, high scoring hunt. One thing I did forget to do, and y'all forgive me for that, I forgot to write the scores down. I know that was one of the things I always liked to try to do back when I used to do this a lot, but we're going to try to do better about that, and so y'all just forgive me kind of breaking in the bones here. But the bench show for the Masters, the best opposite sex, was, I believe it's Whaley's Red Rider, and that dog is out of BPW Skeeter and Garner's Maggie. And the best in show was Parker's Mercedes, and that dog was out of Champion Sire of the Year, B&B's Chrome, and Parker's Jessica. Best mouth for the hunt, and that was a one-class hunt, so no Derby to talk about on this hunt. The best mouth was East Coast Avon, and that dog was out of Huffman's Johnny Cash and No Mercy Sandy from East Coast Kennels, Mr. Cliff Parker. And if anybody has not done it, speaking of Cliff Parker, Cliff was introduced and inducted into the Hall of Fame this past weekend, officially. So congratulations to him. And if y'all really want to watch, and it's a great watch, go to the Masters page. I'm pretty sure it's still up there for right now. They have the award banquet that is on the Masters Inc. page on Facebook. It's a great watch. It's a great listen. The Masters does a great job of really explaining why each person and or hound or cross was put in there. So just a little side note for y'all. If y'all looking for something to do, that's a great thing to go watch, and I highly encourage it. So back to the hunt. The classy hound for the hunt was BB Gap Sauce, and that dog is out of Champion Ray's George and Champion B&B Lily from Landside Kennels. The combination was B&B's Spice. That dog is out of Sire of the Year, Champion B&B's Crow, and Butler's Abbey from B&B Kennels. And the field champion, this one's pretty cool. I texted him for a second after the hunt was over, but this dog, his name is Norris's Roxy, and is out of Garner's Chevrolet and Lori Roxy number 2 from Mr. Ronnie Norris himself. If you don't know, Mr. Ronnie Norris and his wife Lori are the ones that run the Masters. So it's really cool to see them be able to bring the comeback trail. I texted him, told him congratulations, said it had been a long time coming. So it's cool for such a big hunt for them to be able to land one there. So But that's all I got for this week as far as the spotlight goes. So I hope everybody enjoys, and we're going to move from this on into the listener questions. So here we go, and then we'll end the episode at the end of that. All right, here we go. It's time for the listener question section presented by the Southern Hound Hunting Magazine. If you're looking for a magazine that reaches all of your all things hound hunting, the Southern Hound Hunting Magazine has it. From foxhounds, deer dogs, hog dogs, small game dogs, you name it, the Southern Hound Hunting Magazine has it. Visit their website today at southernhoundhunting.com to get a 1-year subscription of quarterly magazines for just $20. Now let's get to these questions and we'll discuss these topics that y'all sent in. Thank y'all so much, Southern Hound Hunting Magazine, for your partnership. Well, man, we're getting a little over an hour here, brother. So, I definitely appreciate you coming on. This has been a lot of fun. So we did it. We're gonna hit this closing topic real quick. We sat around for a few minutes before we got started here and talked about a closing topic, and this is one I think will be a big one. I know. I believe Jason Smith up here was actually the one that asked this question. It was, what do you look for in a pup, and how do you choose it out of a litter? And I'll say let's go early age. Let's start that 8 to 12 weeks old kind of look.
Okay. So, like I say, I raised all mine here in the house. I've had a few that I didn't raise over the last 15 years. But what I look for is a smart puppy.
Mm-hmm.
A puppy who you don't have to worry about it feeding, and don't have to worry about it. When you start feeding them, weaning them from their mom, they learn real fast, and that's mainly what Of course, I look for color first,
Right,
like
right.
as everybody does.
That's right.
But as they grow and start weaning them off of that mama, I look for an extremely smart puppy.
I like that.
That's a trait that I think a dog needs, is to be intelligent first.
Yep.
Before he can do anything else. So, them ones that are have trouble feeding and finding the mama's milk.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I normally go put an X on them right now.
Yeah.
So, and I might be wrong sometimes, but
I know I look for the alpha. I know me personally, I look for the alpha.
Well,
yep.
male. The male's typically the alpha. So,
yep.
That's kind of that's a good trait. He's pretty smart too. So.
Right. That's just me, but at that age, that's something I've always looked for, is the one that's you don't mind. Yeah, he's the dominator. He's the one that's gonna. Yeah. And it gets a little messy as they get older, but
it does, and I'll typically keep that one as well.
Mm-hmm.
The ones I really look for is really the ones that seem really intelligent.
Yep, I like that.
At an early age, I mean, some babies learn things earlier than other babies.
Right.
So that's kind of because I watch them a lot when they're 4 to 5, 6 weeks old. I watch them a lot. But.
Now, what about your ones that are, that right before you get, you're moving them right before breaking time, that 4 to 6 month range. I know a lot of guys will keep pups around till that 3 to 6 month range right before breaking time. What are you looking for? As far like what if you're having a litter and you keep the whole litter and right before breaking time you're like, all right, that's the one, or hey, that's the one that's got to go. What are you kind of looking at in those kind of situations?
Well, when I have a litter, I'll keep half of them, and once I keep them up to 4 or 6 months old, I typically keep them for a while, until they're 14, 15 months old.
Right.
That's kind of I've always did that.
Gotcha.
Early, and I sold the rest of them, and I go through them early, because the problem with that is, with what I do, because I don't puppy hunt, a lot of dogs start performing really until they're 14 months old, 15 months old. So,
yep.
I hate to get rid of one early. A lot of people want some of my dogs early, 6 months old or so, before they started, but I don't typically get rid of them.
Gotcha.
If they're that young.
Yep, I understand that.
Once I raise them up to that age, I typically start them and run them.
Yeah, I'm the same way. If I keep them past that 8 weeks, 10 weeks old, if I keep them past that, they're mine until they get past that 12, 13, 14
Yeah,
month old range.
yeah, I'm the same way. I give them, like I say, I've picked out what I want out the litter, and unless one of them just makes me mad, in the pen or something,
Right.
I give them a chance. I start them all and give them a chance, and
That's right.
run
That's right.
go through them that way. And then
Yep.
ones I don't feel like is going to make it for what I do, I'll move on.
Yep.
So
Yep. Exactly how you need to do.
yeah,
Yep. I respect that, brother.
yeah.
Well, man, I definitely really appreciate you coming on. Like we kind of joked about before, it's getting harder and harder to find people to come on here. So I definitely, appreciate you taking the time. I know you're a busy man; you got a lot going on. So I definitely appreciate you coming on here. You got any last minute shout outs before you get off here?
I don't really, man. I got to shout out everybody. Keep Clyde Sutton in their prayers. He's having some health issues.
Okay, I don't think I knew that. So yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, he's dealing with some issues right now. If everybody keep him in his prayers. So
Absolutely, absolutely. That's you talk about somebody that's a major part of the sport. Right? That's one.
he's a major part. He's been a very big influence of mine as well. So
Yes, sir.
but yeah, like I say, he's going through some little things right now. Hopefully, he'll get through it and be strong.
Yep. Gotcha.
Move on. So
That's right. That's right. Well, man, I certainly appreciate you coming on. I look forward to seeing what y'all do with this whole judges incentive and this judging class and all that kind of stuff. So thank you again for everything that you do for the sport. I know it's not easy running the pen and doing everything that you're doing. So, thank you for that. That's something pen owners are the unsung heroes, I say all the time, of a sport and people that run them. So I definitely appreciate you doing what you do.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you
Yes, sir.
for on the
Absolutely. Absolutely. So everybody out there listening, thank y'all so much. Be sure to check this one out on all your listening platforms. And if you have not done it yet, please like and subscribe to whatever listening platform you are on. And like always, guys, we'll see you next week, and happy hunting.